southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think I ought to slow down, standing in the pouring rain.
And we're back with another episode of the One Hell of Life Outdoor Podcast. What's going on?
What's going on?
You had a little audio issue there?
Yeah. It was more like I had an issue. What is going on, y'all?
Yeah, we're back here doing the thing. Last time we had a podcast, we were talking some Florida with Roscoe. But I guess, we haven't done one in a while, just talking about us, talking about what we're doing and all that stuff. We probably need to recap the crappie fishing stuff and, yeah.
So here's the deal, y'all. If you don't drink Busch Light, you got a problem. Busch Light doesn't give us a single dollar, but it's so damn good. And we got 3 different flavors over there in that fridge. And Busch Light, you did it right.
3 different can designs.
Yeah.
2 different flavors.
I've collected 4 so far this year. What is that? I got a sail or a bass.
You got the bass, I think a trout.
Walleye.
Walleye, yeah, that's
Yep.
what it is.
The corn can, and now the Busch Light peach.
Yep.
It's good stuff. So thank you, Busch Light, for making our life a little bit easier.
Yeah, no kidding.
So what are we going to dive into tonight?
I don't know, man. We should probably get, kind of recap some of the the crappie stuff, and just kind of recap on what we're up to. We're going to be Sunday. We're going and picking blueberries.
Yeah, well, let's just go ahead and ruin public land right now and tell everybody that the secret that they do not know about.
What's that?
There are 3 lakes in Mississippi that you will catch gigantic crappie in, and we got to fish one of them.
Well, I think in the crappie world, all those guys that crappie fish are probably like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So
Dave Donaldson, Rennie Break. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Yeah, no kidding. In the crappie world, no kidding.
Right. Yeah, but no, y'all, we went out and had a great time with some great friends. And, Tristan and I have only been exposed to crappie fishing in Illinois. Don't really have them in Florida where we were at and here in Georgia. And we catch some decent ones out back. But we got invited with some good friends to go out to the land of the giants. Mm-hmm. And, dude, I don't even know. That was nuts. I mean, I will start it out by saying this, and I'm going to let you take it from here. When we got on that boat that Friday evening right before dark and got a good hour or whatever we got in fishing, I had never seen anything like that in my life when it came to crappie fishing. I had only seen that offshore fishing. Mm-hmm. Dude, what do we have? 8 poles?
I think so. Yeah, 8 poles.
No,
yeah.
10.
No, it was 8. It was 3.
3.
And then, 2 off the back.
So if y'all imagine what a catfish looks like, right? With all these tentacles coming off, with their what do you call them? Their whiskers coming off. That's what our boat looked like. Off the front, and then off the back, we had 2 poles just going straight back. Mm-hmm. These guys, we're saying set this one at 45, this one 75, and they have these little clickers on the reels and all that stuff. But dude, we were doing it with swim baits, crankbaits.
Crankbaits,
Yep. Bass crankbaits that were not little bass crankbaits, dude. Like they were like 2-3 inch. Mm-hmm. And that was the funnest type of fishing I have done. It's like I mixed both worlds, right?
Yeah.
It's like, how I am about the offshore fishing, and I love it, but I don't have to do it. Mm-hmm. My roots are in freshwater fishing. So I felt like I molded 2 perfect things.
Yeah. No, it definitely, you see the similarities between like offshore mahi fishing or something, but it was a wild, and I mean, just about every crappie we caught, like I think there was only like 1 or 2 that were under the 12-inch mark the whole weekend, which that, in Mississippi, that's like the limit to keeping them. If they're under 12, you got to throw them back. And I think the biggest crappie I'd ever caught was like a 13.5-inch crappie. That was like the average, and, we were catching 15, 16-inch crappies. It was nuts.
Oh, dude, when their eyeballs are starting to bulge out and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, it was an incredible time. Had a great time with friends. We got to go out. Dude, we got to go to a little small town concert.
Yeah.
And got to see some legends in the country world, man. Up close, really. I mean, it was great seats. So we got to see Tracy Lawrence. Mm-hmm. and he did great. Gary Allen did great. I mean, it was a really cool just hanging out with like
Trace Bird.
Yeah, and Trace Bird. I mean, just to be able to hang out with like I felt like we were in a town of like 10,000 people.
Yeah, it did. It felt kind of just small, local, kind of deal.
So that like capped off one of the days, just being able to do that, with our friends and stuff. But as we say over and over again, it's about the experience, and I don't give a damn if we would have caught a single crappie, honestly, dude. The experience was so fun, meeting new friends, and just having new experiences in life. With such nice, sincere, genuine people. It was just you just love it whenever you run into people that are, just like you.
Yep. For sure.
And so yeah, it was awesome.
Heck yeah. One of the things that's kind of new with us is we just got a bunch of duck mounts back. I guess it was a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, but man, we are just absolutely over the moon over these ducks.
No, let me tell you how over the moon I am. My chest is sticking out like this. Make my arms look bigger in this picture, Tristan. No, dude, I mean, some of these, my Drake blue wing teal, I'd been waiting 2 years to get that sucker back, and no fault of the taxidermist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could have got him way sooner than that.
Well, to be fair, it was a year and a half, not 2 years. But
a year and a half. Okay, but no, I got that gigantic mallard drake with the white in his curls, which that's what I loved about him, and he was just so big. And we both got very, I would say, upper echelon pintails. I don't know what mine measures at or yours does, but it's definitely one you're like, dude, that's a nice pintail, and the model drake that I got back, and big shout out to Jared Mallard, dude. I mean, if y'all are in the South, he's probably going to hate me for saying this.
Yeah, he's like, dude, I have so many ducks.
I don't need it. But the thing is, he does deer. He does everything, y'all.
Yeah.
He's just got an incredible eye for detail.
Yeah, he does a great job. All the duck mounts I've ever done, he's done, or I've ever had done, he's done. And, going back to my first 2 wood ducks and then first ring neck and really my first everything he's done, obviously. And it was just cool. I got a duck wall in the basement, and we'll, if we make a clip out of this, we'll flash like pictures and stuff of both of these. But I made this duck wall in the basement of basically reclaimed wood and painted it kind of white to make it look like distressed, like a side of a barn that, was painted nice at one point. It's kind of, starting to come off. And I got all the ducks sitting on that on ghost mounts, and it looks pretty sweet. So,
heck yeah, man. So one of the things we wanted to dive in tonight is, I think it's so important that, we know who y'all are that follow us all the time. I mean, y'all, we try to stay so deeply connected with each of you. And we thought, one of the best things that you do when you're with friends is you sit back and you tell some good old hunting stories, about, and just learn a little bit about those people and stuff. So, Tristan and I want to take the time out tonight. We're going to both pick a story from our past, just kind of talk about what that experience was like for us, and just kind of break it down and talk to you and share that moment, that thing that we're all chasing. And man, where do you want to start?
I don't know. I always, I feel like to me, it's always been like deer hunting at the end of the day that kind of gets my like heart beating, and just the love for the outdoors and everything like that. And probably my favorite, like, if, just a one story, the coolest thing I've ever done is something that I've yet to meet somebody who's done this, just because of the state laws. So basically, I'll give you the short and then the long. I shot a buck and an 8-point buck and a turkey in the same morning. In Missouri, you can shoot a fall turkey, but a lot of states you can't shoot a fall turkey. Mm-hmm. So like I said, I've yet to meet somebody that's done that in the same morning.
Me too.
Yeah.
By the way, and I've been just kind of hunting for 40 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
I even told you when it happened. So I don't even know anybody that's done this.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're listening to this right now, go, well, me and my whole family, we've had a tradition of doing this. Well, kiss my ass, all right?
We got a pile of corn in the backyard. And, no, I'm just kidding.
No, but there's always that one person. But
no, yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
So anyway, we're out hunting in Missouri at his stepdad's, and I think it was, I guess it was probably about 8:30 in the morning, and this whole group of turkeys come walking in, and I knew that their eyesight was great, and I was bow hunting up in a tree, and I was like, well, I'm going to let them get all past me, and then I'm going to pick like the last one out and shoot it. Well, somehow, I swear none of them were looking at me, but they knew when I pulled back because they all started walking real quick and, doing the head thing or whatever. And I picked one out and shot within 20 yards, and I thought I smoked it. Well, this thing goes walking off, and I'm like with the whole other group, and I'm like, did I just completely miss that turkey? And about, it probably took a good, I don't know, 3 to 5 seconds, and it walks off, and then it kind of like stumbled to the left, stumbled to the right, and then fell over. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I just clean passed through this turkey, I don't know. And so that was awesome. I knew the turkey was over there, and I was like, okay, well, it's only 8:30. I'm going to sit here and wait out, the rest of the morning. Well, I'm all over the moon on my phone texting people about the turkey and stuff. About 9:30 comes around, and I just hear, and I look up, and at this time, it's like I didn't hear the buck until it was like 30 yards. And I look up, this thing's coming on a freaking beeline straight to my tree stand, basically. And it came to the tree stand, and it smelled the tree. And after it smelled the tree, it kind of just went to walk off. And that's when I was like, all right, it's too late to shoot as it's walking in, and it's like a tough angle and stuff. I'm going to wait till it walks off, and then I can get like a kind of down quarter and a way angle on it. And I shot that thing at 6 yards, double lung, quarter and away, kind of down angle. And that thing only went, I don't know, 100 yards or something like that. And the funny thing about this morning is I was using a Matthews quiver that only had 3 arrow spots in it. And I had dropped an arrow, fell off my string earlier in the morning, so I only had 2 arrows. And after I shot that buck, another spike came by, and I guess shot that one too. But still just an incredible morning. And actually, I waited for my dad and our buddy Mario to come up the fire lane, and we were gonna blood trail the buck together. And literally, I start walking down the fire lane before they even came, and I'm like, oh, here's the deer laying on the fire lane. Like, it's perfect. I was like, all right, sweet. So they came rolling up, and I just had the turkey and the buck sitting there, and I was like, this is like, that's the pinnacle of my hunting career, probably.
Dude, that was pretty incredible. And if you're a dad out there listening to this, aren't you like crapping your pants when you see, some a person that came into this world as a defenseless nothing little baby, and then next thing you know, they're like out smoking you with a bow. It's like, you go, brother, you go. No, that was one of my favorite memories. And what made it almost a God thing was that you did that in front of Jerry Dale.
Yeah.
Jerry's never done that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's saying something, dude. But that, for me, the whole overall experience, you're right. It was an incredible experience for you, but even a more incredible experience for me. Mm-hmm. And then I think if I'm in my late 70s, like Jerry was at that time, and you get to see that at that stage in your life, I think it's just, you're just like... I probably would cry in my bed.
Probably thinking the next generation's probably going to be all right.
Yep, for sure, man. No, that was an incredible experience. That was.
So let's turn the question around to you. What would you say if you were put on the spot about one story?
As waterfowlers, we experience all kinds of extreme weather conditions. Stay bone dry and warm with Frog Togs hunting gear. You can check them out at frogtogs.com or at frogtogshunt on Instagram. Did I ever tell you the story? How many times you heard that out of your dad's mouth?
Probably.
If y'all know me, you're probably like, oh, here we go, Mother Goose, right? But man, I'm just sitting here, my brain is racing, and I'm just like, dude, what is it? Because I only get to pick one. I guess it's got to be my very first deer, that one right up there on the wall. Mm-hmm. That wasn't a legendary experience. You guys have all heard about my mom. If you haven't, you might be soon. on some big social media channels. But my mom, if you haven't heard this before, she was the first person in the world, man or woman, to shoot 3 non-typical bucks that made the Pope and Young record book. And she did 8 feet off the ground. And one of her bucks she shot at 3 yards. Not high fence, nothing like that. But the story is that, you know, that weekend, we're hunting on public land, and it's a land that we used to, the camaraderie of bow hunting back then, is, you know, it's something I've taught you. It's something that I'm trying to bring back, and I think it's coming back. And that's, you know, we would hunt public land, dude, and we're talking about thousands of acres. And dude, we would hunt with different bow hunters. And I'm talking just in our group of people, like our circle, there had to be 50 or 60.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody kind of knew where everybody hunted. We shared it with each other. We respected their areas. It doesn't mean they own it, but they did the work to get it. And you respect that, you know, but maybe even more from a safety perspective, we all knew where each other hunted. We would meet at these junction points and talk about it the day. You know, I remember this one family we used to hunt with. It was a husband, a wife, a boy, and a girl. And it was me and my brother that played his guitar in the tree stand. And my mom and Jerry. So it was like a cool little mix, you know, and we would get done. The 4 of us would talk to the 4 of them, and you hear about all the mistakes the kids make and all that stuff. But we're up there hunting this public land, and you know, my mom had just gotten into it, and she goes out and sets this tree stand. Well, my stepdad's got to take her to it, and we had a lot of good hopes for this place, and takes it, drops her off, and he has to walk about 150, 200 yards to his tree stand. Long story short, he does that, and my mom starts whistling, and he could hear him, like, what's going on? Well, my mom says, well, I shot this big deer. And I'll save that story for a whole nother time, but this when my mom shot, that thing is a giant, dude. I mean, that thing is a giant. We're talking like 8 3/4 inch bases, dude. And not because they're barnacle, because they're that big, dude. As big around as that beer can right there. And, she shoots this monster, I think a field dress 269. And and this is my first deer. So I begged Jerry, can I please sit my mom's tree stand? Because back then you could only shoot 1 deer with a bow. And so my mom was done for the year. And he said, I guess so, you know, and I kind of had that feeling like, you ever been with like your dad or your mom in my case, or anybody where you're like, yeah, I just need to shut up because I'm starting to get on their nerves a little bit. I kind of felt like I was starting to be like a hassle to him. So I didn't want to be. And I'm 11 years old, and he takes me out to the tree stand in the evening. I get up there, and he drops me off, and he goes down to his tree stand 150, 200 yards. And I get there, and I look, and my cables have came off of my whitetail too. Dude, I started crying because I really believed in my mind as an 11-year-old kid that I'm going to shoot something like my mom just shot. I'm sitting in her tree stand, all this stuff. And I started crying, dude. I was like, man, this is not happening to me. It's the worst luck ever. And so I whistled for Jerry. Well, from his perspective, he says, I just climb up into my tree stand and I hear, and all these whistles. And so he starts getting concerned about me because I'm 11. And dude, we didn't wear safety belts. We were in plywood hang-on tree stands hung on with a regular chain. I mean, it was a little sketch. And he come walking up and he said, what's wrong? And I said, my cables came off my bow. And he said, why don't you effing fix it? And he turned around and he walked off, dude, like a man, dude. If I wasn't crying before that, bro, I was really crying then, because now I've messed up his hunt and everything else. And long story short, Jerry would not put it back on for me. We went back to camp. He wouldn't talk to me all the way back. We walked back to the truck, wouldn't talk to me. And we got back to the camp and I said, how am I going to fix it? He goes, ask somebody else. And I remember going up to one of his friends and he's like, man, I'm sorry. He's like, there's no way you can know how to fix this. He goes, but I will show you how to fix it. and he had a bow press there and was able to fix my bow. So I asked Jerry, can I go hunting with you tomorrow evening? Dude, he did not want me to go. He didn't want me to go, but I was just like, I had to get in that tree stand, right? Long story short, we go there. He puts me in the tree stand. I watch him walk where I lose sight of him. He walks down these valley, and you know this valley, and he walks over this little hump, and now I don't see him. As soon as that happened, I look like to his right across the creek coming towards me. Here he comes. This buck is walking straight down, and I just remember just a constant walk. Doom, 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 doom. I look at myself. I've got a red wool sweater on, and I had like his old Vietnam pattern jacket or something on, and I don't have time to put it on. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just like, I can't. And as an 11-year-old kid, I was like, felt like I was so screwing up. Like, if I mess this up, I can't tell Jerry that I didn't have my camo on.
Right.
You know? Well, it walks right in front of me. I shoot, and I never felt like I needed to believe so hard that I shot in the lungs, but I didn't. And I knew it, dude. I knew I shot him a little bit high and a little bit back, and the deer runs off. Well, I had been in tree stand 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, Jerry, from his perspective again, gets back in the tree. This kid is whistling at me. I'm going to kill him. Dude, I think he came, like when he tells the story, like you can see some aggression in his face, you know. And he said he came and he walked over that mound where he knew he could see the tree, and he saw that I wasn't in the tree. And he said right then his heart dropped because he thought that I fell out of the tree stand.
Yeah.
How am I going to explain this to his mother? You know, all this stuff. And he said all he could see was me jumping like 6 feet in the air, saying, I got one, I got one, I got one. And he goes, what do you mean you got one? He goes, do you see it laying down? I said, no, but I got one. He goes, where'd you hit it at? I said, right in the lungs. He goes, oh yeah, show me where you hit it at. And I bent over like the deer to show him. He goes, you did not hit it in the lungs. I said, yes, I did. He goes, you did not. And dude, he goes, let's go over there and look and see what kind of blood we got. And dude, it was spraying everywhere immediately. And so I said, see, I shot in the lungs. He goes, no, you did not. You shot it in the main artery above the back, high and left of the lungs. The deer was walking left to right for me. And I just will never forget, dude. I think the deer went like, he was so specific. And if I mess this up right now and you're listening to me in heaven, Jerry, just give me a break. But I think it was 153 yards. He wouldn't say 150 yards. He would say exact what it was. He would go back and walk it off. But I want to say it was 153 yards. And I'll just never forget what that was like to see that deer. And I felt so much gratitude at 11 years old that I don't know, maybe it just because he pushed me hard, you know, and he, you know, it was such a battle for me that weekend because I'm with all these like veteran bow hunters and I'm just this kid. And all I'm trying to do is not like get on their nerves or piss them off, you know, or whatever. And I'll just never forget that, dude. It was something that I'll never forget.
Yeah, and there's a picture somewhere with you and Oma and the deer, right?
Yeah. No, I'll grab it right now. We'll put it on the camera right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this came out of a. So this came out. Well, let's see if I can. There we go. This came out of the Alton Telegraph, and if you look real close, you can see that 8-pointer, and you can see my mom's magnificent giant.
Imagine being in a time where the local newspaper would post something about deer hunting.
Well, dude, it was a woman and an 11-year-old boy.
Well, true, but
and we were the only ones, dude, that shot deer that weekend.
But think about that. Like, you're not going to see that in any mainstream publication of anything nowadays. But
no, dude. But that's got to be because it was just an incredible. Again, it was an incredible experience for the whole weekend, and that record stood a long time. You know, that deer my mom shot had those giant bases. I think it scored 179 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And that thing has double split eye guards. It's got double drop tines. But if you look at it, if I take a picture of it from the side, you're like,
it's 8-pointer.
Yeah, it's an 8-pointer.
Yeah, I know.
And then you see it straight on, you're like, mother of God, dude, what a pig, So, no, man, that was a great experience. So, but we just wanted to share a couple stories with you guys and about our experiences and stuff. So, what else is going on?
I think I think one thing about what's kind of drawn me to deer hunting all along is like, in the South, you go to these other states over time where it's like Georgia, you can shoot like 10 does or something and $2, and like some of these other states where you can shoot so many deer and have so many opportunities. It's like in Illinois, like most of my hunting life, is 2 deer, you're 1 deer. And I think that's what adds to like how important it is, because it's like you get 1 tag, and just that it means everything.
Well, and you only got
especially
so
on
much
public land.
You only got so much time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And especially now, if you guys don't think that we don't sit there and feel like we're getting kicked in the stomach every time somebody from Illinois shoots a giant buck, we're just like, bro, we used to live there, and now this costs us almost $600.
Yeah,
just in fees to come there.
Yeah, just tags. Yeah,
but it's not only the money that you've got at risk of spending. It's just the will to succeed. Mm-hmm. You don't want to fail, but then it's the time. You're taking off work to do this, and that you go to Illinois for deer hunting. I think if you lived off of ramen noodles and didn't even stop at gas stations, brought everything you want, there's no way you could do a 5-day hunt in Illinois without spending $1,000.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, so you're out, say $1,500, $1,600, and some of us, you're paying for the experience and stuff, but I'm also looking at like, I want some meat, you know what I mean? And then that costs you another couple $100, but no, I think it's just a lot of pressure just because you took the time off. You only got so much time. I definitely feel more pressure now than I used to before.
Yeah. And I mean, for y'all that haven't been listening for a while, we all ate tag soup in Illinois this past year, and me and my dad and really 2 of my best friends and our buddy Mario. So it's just that was a rough go, but yeah, it's hard to stomach when you drop $1,500 and you're like, I'm coming home with nothing.
It sucks.
That's the way it goes.
It does.
For sure. it makes you feel bad for those guys that I think publicly in elk hunting is a 10% success rate.
Really?
Yeah, I'm 99% positive it's 10% success rate on public land.
Wow.
So think about how many people spend thousands and thousands of dollars to go out there and elk hunt, and I mean, shoot, the tag alone for that's $600.
Think about going Kodiak bear hunting, mountain goat. I mean,
that's probably even more.
Dude, I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
I can't.
Yeah, and it's not even like people that. I guess it's different if you're locals, but like a lot of out-of-state people who have so much money to come, it's not even like, it's one thing to be like, oh, he shot like a high-fence deer and paid all this money, blah, blah. It's like, oh, this rich guy, whatever. But it's like the effort that goes into all of those animals, it's like respect, bro. It doesn't even matter that you,
That's true. It really is true.
Especially like mountain goat and all that other crap. Like,
for sure. I've got to go to the bathroom.
All right. Well, I think Steve Ranella, there was some, I might be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure Steve Ranella waited like 20-something years, or maybe it was Cam Hands. One of those guys waited like 20-something years to pull this tag, this type of mountain goat or something, some mountain goat tag, and that just puts into perspective like how tough of a situation that's got to be, and then if you don't come back with it, how hard that's got to be to eat. It's like years and years and years on some of these quotas, and I couldn't even imagine.
Do you want coffee that doesn't suck? Get the Duck. Dirty Duck coffee is made specifically for the waterfowl enthusiast. Enjoy flavors like Morning Wood, Dark Dynasty, Cinnamon Teal Snickerdoodle, and First Flight to unlock the flavor that you'll enjoy in the blind for years to come. Our friends at Dirty Duck Coffee Company are now offering all Zero Duck 30 followers a 15% discount when you use code ZeroDuck15 on your next order.
So one of the things, we wanted to cover while we're on this podcast is, a lot of people ask, anybody in the duck hunting community is like, all right, what kind of boat setup you're running?
What you running?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you're just shooting the shit, talking about, what you're running. And we've got several questions on that kind of thing before, especially posting videos of the duck boat and stuff. So Dad, why don't you go into, kind of what we're running and why you went with what we went with and all that stuff?
Yeah. So number one, I think you need to, anytime you're shopping for something, I think you need to do a project of, a process of elimination,
Mm-hmm.
and start it with the best.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So why does somebody spend $50,000 on a duck boat? Research that. Understand what the best is first. On the flip side of that, understand what the starter entry level is, which is what we started with, so that way you understand both ends of the spectrum. And I will even go freaking fly, but I'll even go as far as do that with everything that you buy. I mean, your house, your car, everything like that. And you buy the best value that you see, and so in my case, we had a starter boat. We had a 1748 Crestliner. We had a mud skipper. Before that, we had a 10 or an 8-foot long tail swamp runner. Changed that out, put a mud skipper surface drive on it. It's an entry level setup. If you're looking for an entry level setup, I will say go check out Mud Skipper. All right, you're going to probably spend anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 on what you're looking for. They have twisters, they have long tails, they have surface drives. The twister is kind of more of a between a long tail and a surface drive, but go check it out. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Now, I don't mean to throw any shade at Mud Skipper, but I'm just going to tell you from a true consumer's perspective, the support you will get is nil. All right, but you're buying an entry level thing. Mm-hmm. So that's what comes along when buying something entry level. The other thing is...
No, I think that's good and fair because it's like talking from true perspective.
Yeah, dude. And so, you all know there was a joke going around. Like, what's Tony working on this week on the boat? Mm-hmm. All the time.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, it even risked me and Tristan's life a little bit. Hunting flooded timber in like not sub-zero, but like teens. And you got all this flooding on the rivers and undertow and all. I mean, it was pretty spooky when the motor died, because that's how you can capsize and you lose control, I mean, and I said, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
I'm either not going to go hunt there or I'm going to have something that's equipped to be safe.
Sure.
So you got to measure that, and measure your budget, and say, what can I effectively afford? So what I ended up going with, I researched all the boats, and this is just my opinion. It doesn't mean it's the right opinion. But I researched all of them, and I knew one thing for sure is that I wanted a tank. Because when you go through that timber, dude, it's going to wreck your boat if you don't have a tank. And so I think anybody would agree with me if they've ran these boats. War Eagle has got a tank in that Gladiator, dude. And so when I found that out, and I found out that with the surface drive, that I could run that thing in 4 to 6 inches, that does two things for me. And it doesn't, let's take the timber out of it, just the height of water.
Yeah.
I can do that in the swamps. I can do that in the timber. Mm-hmm. I am going to have an advantage over anybody that's got an outboard, period. Mm-hmm. Dude. Now, the only negative side to that boat is it's a little heavier than your Excels and things like that. So you might want to say, hey, I want to be a gator tail guy, but I need it on an Excel, or I want a gator tail boat, or whatever it is, you know.
Like if you were hunting purely in Florida, like probably the War Eagle probably wouldn't be the best.
No,
like,
I wouldn't have. I would not have chose that boat.
But for us, it's a great hybrid because of the two states, two main states we hunt. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're here sitting here listening to this and you're from the South, and we have no affiliation with gator tail, War Eagle, or nothing. Mm-hmm. I hope we will someday, but they're just great products. The War Eagle hull comes with a lifetime warranty, dude. Lifetime. Mm-hmm. So they're saying, we're building a tank and we know it's a tank.
Yeah.
Right? That should be their commercial, by the way. You're welcome, War Eagle. But then you throw a reliable gator tail on the back of it, and I know everybody's back there, oh, I'm a swamp buddy and I'm a Prodigy, and I'm a I can't even think of them all right now. Pro Drive, dude. But they're all great motors. They are.
Dude, I was dying laughing today. I saw there's this clip of, people on TikTok and put a clip of something on top of something else or whatever. Well, there's this clip of Theo Von talking, and he's like, I think I sent it to you actually, but he's talking and he's like, well, I'm not saying I'm going to make fun of you, but there's people that will. That's all I'm gonna say. So this guy put that on a thing. He's like, when people say they don't drive a gator tail or don't use a gator tail, he's like, I'm not saying I'm going to make fun of you, but some people will.
That's the truth, man. But, honestly, I have learned, I let a buddy of mine, Warren, give W. Geiler a shout out. But Warren, a good buddy of mine, has got so much experience with surface drives and stuff. And that's really I learned a lot in one day of how to run that motor from Warren. Mm-hmm. And definitely when you're buying something like that, there is a what do you want to call it?
Barrier to entry.
Yeah, a little barrier to entry. You definitely got to learn some things. Hear about people hole shotting their motors and things like that. I watched him literally cut through. I think I got a TikTok of it. I'm going to have to send that to you so you can see this. But it looks like we're going through dry land.
Yeah.
And he's just taking my motor. I thought he was going to blow it, dude. He's just like, no, dude, this is how you do it. And then we were completely stuck. And dude, I mean, all I saw was grass. And he goes, oh, this is what you got to do. Puts it in reverse and just starts whipping all the stuff out, dude, and just tearing through this shit. And I'm like, dude, I would have been stuck here for the rest of my life. There's no doubt about it. But, I made him captain because I was like, dude, I don't know half of what I'm doing. So don't be afraid to let your ego down a little bit. And if one of your buddies or a friend or somebody's more experienced, dude, let them hop on your boat. I think that's the best way, because then they teach you something and then you get on and you try to replicate that.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot in just that one day watching somebody really knowing how to really run that motor.
It goes, as far as back as being like coachable and like T-ball.
Yeah.
It's just being coachable and anything,
Yeah, but no, what you're getting with a Gladiator 750 is when I say 750, it's 17 foot long. It's got a duck bill on the front of it, which is basically like a big hammerhead pointed bull nose that you can just hammer through trees and everything with. It's got the T-rail system all through it. The one I got is all in timber. It's got a gun, and this is more of a basic model, but it's got the stowable place for your guns. And it basically runs a 5-gallon tank off of it. And man, I can just run the shit out of that thing anywhere I go. It's so easy to run. But one thing I will say is that if you guys are out there and you just bought a nice setup like that, be careful on the RPMs that you push on those things. Make sure you do your required maintenance. It's so important that you follow the manufacturer's instructions for what you need to do to keep that boat going. I know on my Gator Tail, I have to, I've got to lube the shaft. I've got, it's basically corn grease, or marine grease. You're going to be lubing that. You got to put oil in your reverse. You got to change the normal oil on a regular basis. And if you don't do those things on a regular basis, you're just not going to get the life out of this equipment, But that thing is as much of a tank hybrid, like you said, as there is.
Yeah, I thought it was a good point you brought up about, just depending on what you got to take like a good look at what you're wanting to do in your duck hunting, plans, or even if you're wanting to do other stuff, inshore fishing and all these other things, and that can really kind of change what you're going to buy,
For sure.
Your tolerance of stuff, I guess you could say. So
our partners at Huntwise are offering an exclusive discount for Zero Duck 30 followers. As an elite member, some of the features you'll immediately gain access to are HuntCast, Windcast, peak kill times, property lines, owner information and phone lookup, 250 map layers, unlimited offline maps, 3D maps, social media, and on top of it all, save up to 50% off some of the top hunting brands in the industry. Download and explore the #1 hunting tool set today and save 20% by using code DUCK30.
But yeah, I guess the latest thing with us is just, it's summertime here in Georgia. Tonight, I'm actually cooking the spike that I shot back in December. I'm cooking some steaks from that.
That was the 45-yard shot in the woods.
Yeah, the rocket moon shot. But yeah, I'm cooking some steaks from that, and the heart from it. I'm gonna cube that up and fry the heart, and then just cook steaks out of the steaks. Obviously, I'm not gonna fry that, but and then Tessa, my sister, her boyfriend caught a catfish today, so we're gonna cut up a catfish and fry that up too, and just have a good old Georgia meal.
Heck
straight from the Georgia land.
Yeah, it's gonna be some good stuff. One thing that we're going to touch on is, I don't know if you guys saw, but recently over the last couple of days, I had put a trivia online, and it was interesting to see people's perspectives, and it was fun to see the perspectives of people that don't do anything with ducks. Some of the comments, dude. But if you didn't see it, you guys go on to my Instagram and Facebook and look. What I posted was a mallard drake in its summertime plumage.
Yep.
I would bet my life, because I was one of them, that 90% of the duck hunting population does not know that's what a mallard looks like. Mm-hmm. And if I just look at the statistics, even from some people that I know are very good duck hunters that commented on these posts, and I'm not throwing shade at any of you for getting it wrong, because I would have guessed the same damn thing. Mm-hmm. People were guessing black duck, all this stuff. But that's what a mallard drake looks like during this time of year. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty crazy, with ducks, all birds molt their feathers. Ducks do it twice a year, and that's something I made a point of mentioning in my comments today. But they do it twice a year, and it's very necessary for several reasons. One, if you watch any David Attenborough, anything, right? If you see something of a bird, the male, it's always the most beautiful male, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to birds. And that's no different than what a pintail's doing, a mallard drake's doing. Any of the drakes of birds are putting on their best suit for the ladies. But, that lady time doesn't come till really when about mid-season for us, they're starting to connect and that kind of thing. But, there's a reason why that they look this way. And then really during the summer, they kind of take on more. And this goes for all species. I mean, you teal hunters know this. There is a drastic difference between a fully plumed blue-winged teal and early season blue-winged teal.
Yeah, drakes, yep.
I mean, it's probably the most hen-looking drake out of all of them.
Yeah.
And you really got to know what you're looking for to tell the difference, And when it comes to these mallards, it's such a bold green head, right? That's why so many people are like, I'm a green head purist. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be awesome as if all those green heads for one season didn't turn green and went and flew into all the spreads of the green head purist? Dude, would you shoot them?
That's a good question.
Would the green head purist shoot them?
There'd be some guys that wouldn't.
They're right. Throwing shade. They're like, dude, I am only a teal hunter now. I only shoot fully plumed green-winged teals.
Yeah,
dude, that would happen.
It would turn to something else.
It would turn. I know it would.
Yeah. But
it was really cool. But where I'm going with this is they do it twice a year, if you guys didn't know this. And so what they do is when we get done with hunting season, the ducks are pairing up. They're still doing that really all the way to the breeding grounds and in the breeding grounds. Mm-hmm. Everybody thinks they bet up for that. They mate for life. No, it does not happen with ducks. Now, there's probably some chances there where certain ducks do. I don't know. I'm not banding and tagging them together or nothing, but I know that's more prominent in geese. But they're doing that, fighting for the best. And so take a bison, for example, and they're fighting and they're establishing their dominance that way. And the whole time you see them, this goes with deer, female bison, or whatever. They're standing there watching. Who's the badass, right?
Yep.
So not so many times with birds is it aggression or toughness, but it does come into dominance, does come into a part of it. I mean, I watch these ducks interact all the time, and dominance definitely comes into it. But color and beauty is so specific that I think it's so specific to that female. I mean, we have some that come here, they leave every year, they come back, everything, and I see like I know this one hen is like super mature hen, and dude, she's always with the most. I mean, I'm so detail oriented. I'm looking for the most minute difference of beauty between these drakes, and it's always the biggest, most beautiful one. That she chooses, and so they lose that in order when they go into the summer, and it's almost like a protective thing, because the predators start to prey on them a lot more. Those potholes and stuff up in the prairie pothole region stuff starting to dry up and everything. And these ducks really just need cover. And the main reason why they need that cover, especially the drakes, is the duck is one of the, correct me if I'm wrong, you can call me out, people, is the only bird that sheds its wing feathers. So a duck literally cannot fly, it's flight feathers, cannot fly at all until they grow back.
Yeah, no, I think that's correct, yeah.
So how crazy of a God thing is that you let this bird change from having this head that's in a neck and everything else that sticks out like a sore thumb that says, we're going to camo you up so you can be safe during this time period. Dude, it's the coolest thing ever. And then they bring it all back, you northern hunters, like our buddies up there in Idaho, Jason and Drew, you guys are up there. You know what I'm talking about. Those early season mallards. Yeah. They're a little flaky. They look like they look a little bit crackheadish.
Yeah, the Dakota guys too, like this October birds. Yeah.
They're not fully plumed, dude. No. They're not at all. So they're transitioning, doing that as they're heading south, and I see it every year at the beginning of the season that somebody from Arkansas or Kansas or Oklahoma, doesn't matter, posts a picture and says, hybrid, female, 27 years old.
Yeah.
That female, that's one that's losing, or that's a male that lost all of his testosterone and that does happen.
Yeah.
But if it's early season, that's not the case, folks. That mallard drake just has not fully plumed yet. And keep in mind that this is all based on the nesting and hatching, right? So if this one couple gets there in February, right? And says, let's get at it. Boom, clutch of eggs, bam, they come out. Those babies are weeks and weeks ahead of somebody that starts a nest, it gets smashed by a coon. They try to do it one more time. Not all cases do they do that, but sometimes they'll try to nest again. And now you got some chicks that are 3 weeks behind, right? Those are the ones that you're seeing whenever they come down during hunt season.
Yeah.
That look like that.
I was just reading something, I think it was yesterday, about blue-winged teal, and because I want to do a piece for y'all on, Tony does too, about some in-depth stuff on blue-winged teal before teal season starts. But I was reading that blue-winged teal lay like an egg a day for a certain amount of days. So I mean, I don't know what that spectrum is. I forgot. I'll have to remember that. But if you're at the beginning of that spectrum and towards the end of that spectrum, that could be a difference in the how those ducks will mature down the line. So. But yeah, we'll get into a blue-winged teal podcast. Here in the South, we only shoot blue-winged teal for early teal. I know some of you guys up north for teal season shoot some green wings too, but we'll get into breaking all that down at a different time, as we get closer to that.
Dude, we're biased. No, we're certainly biased.
What's that?
We're blue-winged teal purists.
Oh yeah, that's what we shoot in Florida from September to January 30th or whenever the season closes every year, you know?
And here it is what it is for me. And I don't know if it's like this for all you duck hunters, even you, Tristan, but for me, it's this. This is what makes me love blue-winged teal. And if you haven't done it, dude, gals, you got to do it. Check this out. This bird has an over 60% mortality rate per year. This is a fact provided by Ducks Unlimited. The other thing is, this bird travels earlier than any other duck to their breeding grounds, comes back later than most ducks. They travel so far to do what they do, dude. I mean, we have friends of ours every year that tell us about seeing them offshore. You know, they're offshore fishing 50 miles or something like that, and there goes a group of blue-winged teal heading down to Argentina or whatever. So for me, and the fact that they're such a speedy little blue rocket on top of all that just makes it so much fun to hunt those birds, man. And I just can't wait till we get there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And like we said, we're going to dive into that, full force and have all kinds of good blue-winged teal info and tips and all that stuff for you guys. But, yeah, we just wanted to hop on here and, just update you guys what we're doing and just talk for a little bit. And, yeah, it's one hell of a life.
Y'all, thank you for tuning in tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I've been southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think I'll slow down, standing in the pouring rain.